Okay, start.
Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to illustrate my answers for question 1. I hope you guys will enjoy. So let's go to question 1. Okay, so for part A, we are supposed to find the price and then the quantity. To find the pre-trade quantity, the demand equation is equals to the supply equation as shown here. So what am I going to do is that I'm just going to bring all my unknowns to one side and all my numericals to another side. This gives me a quantity of 4. So I'm just going to plot 4. Next, with quantity 4, I can able to find my price. So my price would be just basically I will substitute Q equals to 4 into demand equation. So 6 minus 0.5, substitute 4, it gives me 4. And then I will have a 4 here. Okay, with my equilibrium price of 4 and my quantity of 4, I can able to find my consumer surplus. Basically, consumer surplus is above the equilibrium price. So this would be the consumer surplus. I'll put it as CS. And the producer surplus would be below the equilibrium price. So PS will be my producer surplus. ADE would be my trade surplus. Then. Okay, so for part B, assume that USA sells $2.50 per unit in the market. So under free trade, the world's supply will be perfectly inelastic. It will show a horizontal line, 250 here. So with 250, cheap imported price will attract Japanese. Thus, the new equilibrium price would be 250, as well as the new quantity they will produce at Q1. So there is a consumer surplus of this whole triangle that represents the consumer surplus. And below the equilibrium price would be the producer surplus, PS. So with that, I would say that producer will only able to supply their rice at only Q2. So Q2 to Q1 is the amount imported to the country Japan. So with decrease in price, there is new gains on trade. These would be the gains on trade, whereby consumer gains on purchasing at lower price. Okay, so the last part, okay, Japan imports a quarter of 4 units. The limited supply will increase price to P. And then the relatively, it causes the supply to shift to the right. So with supply shifting to the right, you will have a new equilibrium quantity of Q4 and new price to P. So with equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity, I'm able to find the consumer surplus. So consumer surplus is normally above the equilibrium price. So this would be my consumer surplus. And then my producer surplus, there's an increase in producer surplus due to the increase of price, because producers are able to produce more, gaining the advantage of selling at a high price. So the producer surplus will increase from 250 to P. And then there is a protective effect on producer. This is the protective effect on producer, and there is a consumption effect on the consumer, the inability to buy at Q1. This equates to deadweight loss. Next, there is a revenue effect. Domestic producer will buy at 250 and sell at price P. So there is a revenue effect gained by the domestic producer. This is the revenue effect. So with that, there is an increase in price as a result of imposing a quota, as well as there is an increase in quantity of Q4. I hope the information is useful for you, and thanks for watching this video. Thank you.